guys, today we're going to give you an update on my glove collection. We're going to talk about some Pride gloves and Dream gloves and make a comparison. Also going to share with you a few other goodies that I picked up. So just to touch quickly on the origin of some of Pride's gloves, you can see a lineup of some genuine fight issued Pride gloves that I have here. When Pride first started, they had these black gloves. Now I don't know if there are any still hanging around in circulation or if any collectors still have any pairs of them, but they didn't look too special. They were fairly early prototypes. They then moved on with these KRS gloves that were also blue. I've seen a couple pictures of them and I know a couple of guys that own a few of those pairs, but they weren't real special looking. And then they moved on to this style of gloves. These open palm gloves that you've seen in my last review. And this particular pair right here, this was owned by Ishida and was a gift to me from a guy that trained in Japan with Ishida. So I'm really grateful for that. They've been trained in extensively. I'm not sure if they've been fought in. Move on to this pair. This is a pair that I showed in my last video and last review. They were owned by Taisho Iwama. They were fight worn against Jens Pulver. They've had some of the guard here, the thumb guard, cut away. Still in good usable condition. Now what was interesting, in my last review I had these used pair and they were used for some time and people were saying, look, it's not a fair comparison to compare with UFC gloves if this pair is used and the UFC gloves are new. So I've recently gotten a hold of this pair. Brand new condition. These were actually issued to Gary Goodridge, Gary Big Daddy Goodridge, for one of his fights in the Pride organization. So in immaculate condition, they haven't been worn, they haven't been used. You'll see here the thumb still has the full neoprene on it that they come with. And what's interesting is now I can say that whether it's been used or whether it's new, my opinion is still the same compared to UFC gloves. The rounding, molding in the hands here, the padding, the protection, the quality, it's amazing. It's all exactly the same as a pair that's been used for a really long time. So my opinion hasn't changed. These gloves are, as far as I've seen so far, some of the best gloves that have ever been made for MMA. Here's another pair that I received. I got this from a Korean guy. He told me that they were actually fight worn by Hongman Choi versus Fedor Emelianenko at the Yarennoka card that was between Pride, after Pride went under in 2006-2007, and the beginning of Dream. They had a Yarennoka event and these were said to have been worn by Hongman at that event. Now I know they are Hongman's gloves just because of research that I've put in, and if you have a look here, they're size 3L. Now if you compare that to ones worn by Big Daddy Goodridge, who is a huge man, here's a size LL, which is extra large. These are three extra large. They're just absolutely massive. I've got large hands. These are oven mitts. They're incredible. Yeah, so said to have been worn by Hongman Choi, definitely owned by him, definitely issued to him. The sticker that said Yarennoka has been torn off. If you can see underneath some of the sticker logos that are on these gloves, they'll actually say Pride, or they'll say whatever the organization was. That's a little bit of the sticker remaining. Pretty interesting. Maybe save that for another time, but a really cool pair of gloves, custom 3L. Be very, very hard to find another pair like these. Not too many giants the size of Hongman Choi. Now let's move on to some Dream gloves. Here's a pair that I got from Kazuyuki Miyata, and he was a Dream veteran, fought with Dream for a number of years. Really awesome fighter, really awesome guy actually, and he hooked me up with this pair. This is a pair that he trained in for a number of years when he was fighting for Dream. Really cool little pair. Extensively used, extensively worn. You can still chuck those things on and they work just fine. Padding feels good. Condition is still in pretty good nick. And let's take a look at these bad boys. These are a gem. Signed by the legendary Kazushi Sakuraba, one of the greatest of all time. recently brought into the UFC Hall of Fame. It's also his signature, and this is one of his famous masks. Now these are available for purchase on one of his web stores, so if you need to know where that is, just let me know and I'll point it out to you. But let's take a look at these bad boys. So Dream followed up after Pride, after Yarennoka, basically by the same guys that ran Pride. Now, after they sold Pride to the UFC, they couldn't give it the same name, and one of the executives, Sakaki Bara, was unable under contract to start a new promotion for, I believe, 7 years. So the other members of Dream Stage Entertainment began Dream. They contracted a lot of the old fighters, they got a lot of new fighters, and away they went. Really cool little organization, and they continue to use the same style of gloves. Now let's quickly compare these against the Pride gloves, and you'll see that they look really similar. So there's a few years between them. I'd say there's probably 7 or 8 years between the manufacture of this glove and this one, and you'll see they look almost identical. Really, really similar. They've both got that thick wrist padding. The Dream one is a bit chunkier and more squared. The Pride is rounded. The fist section where the fingers slot through that open palm leather looks about the same. You'll notice in the Dream gloves they've cut that neoprene back. Most fighters would cut that off anyway, so they probably decided that was a waste of time. All in all, really similar gloves. You can tell they're made by the same company. They're both 100% made by Winning in Japan. Really good quality. The same you'd expect from Winning in any other product that they sell. Awesome gloves, just amazing. And one other thing that I wanted to show you guys, I got hold of some Winning gloves, and one thing that I noticed amongst Winning's offerings and every other replica that I've seen out there of Dream and Pride gloves, one thing they cannot get the same as Winning is the color and the texture. There really is no other replica out there that has that same classic blue color and texture. Hopefully you can see that. Nothing else really replicates that. So really, to answer the question, Pride versus Dream gloves, they're really about the same. I would say, if anything, the Dream look a little bit sharper in the construction, and that's probably just from an extra nearly decade in producing the gloves that's made their processes a little tighter. Everything here is really, really nice. So, almost run by the same people. They continue to use a similar style gloves. They continue to build upon the quality of their gloves, and we had Dream. So I'm really keen to show you guys. I'm actually getting hold of some Rizin gloves. I know a lot of people have been asking about Rizin gloves. They would love to see a demonstration of Rizin versus Pride, and get my thoughts on which one I feel is best for mixed martial arts, and I'm happy to do that. So that's coming soon. So if there's anything else you guys want to see, subscribe, like this video, send me a comment, send me a message, let me know what you want to see. Maybe you're interested in King of the Cage, Strikeforce gloves, WEC, Elite XC, older UFC gloves, WEC gloves, some of the old style IFL gloves, and much, much more. So check it out, guys. Stay subscribed, stay tuned, and have a good one.